African English comprises several innovations in the area of semantics. Semantics is the study of meaning of words, and the semantic characteristics of African English can fall in different categories. For example, one is semantic extension, which means that meanings are added to the existing English words. We have this word amount in English. The word amount in African English is used to mean only cash or money. When you say give me some amount, it means give me some money. And I think we can see that amount is used not always but often in the same way in Pakistani English as well. Then in African English, an arrangement man is someone who usually gets his way. So somebody who always finds a way out is an arrangement man in African English. And that is how the existing English words, their meanings are extended. Similarly, we have another example of semantic extension. Someone who bluffs is not somebody who cheats others, but somebody who bluffs in African English is somebody who's dressed up showily or fashionably. Then we see a semantic shift also taking place in African English. Semantic shift means change meanings and functions of the existing words. So when you use the existing words in different meanings, in changed meanings. For example, the word machine in African English may only mean sewing machine and not any other machine. Similarly, minerals in African English refers to soft drink. So any soft drink is referred to as minerals. And then serviceable in African English means somebody who's willing to serve. Similarly, guested, a very unique innovation here. Guested means to have a guest. So we see this very unique, distinctive ways in which meanings are attributed to, newer meanings are attributed to existing English words. Then we also see a lot of coinage taking place in African English. Coinage means the invention of new words, when you create new words. Coinage in African English shows this rich derivational morphology, which is characteristic of African languages. African languages seem to have a very rich morphology, this science of making new words, etc. And we see this characteristic reflected in African English as well, which shows several new coinages. So, facing a lot of hard cap in place of hardship. So, hard cap is a new word. We do not have it in English or native English. Similarly, he has given nothing coinable means no money. So, coinable means no money, which is again a new word. Coinable is a new word. We also see compounding of words in African English. For example, these been two boys. Been two boys is a compounding which we do not show in any other variety of English, but only in African English. So, been two boys means boys or people who've been abroad, who have traveled abroad, especially to Britain or America, to native English speaking countries. So, they become been two boys. People who've been to America or Britain. Similarly, a me and my darling is actually a small sofa. And then chicken parlor is a commercial place where chicken, fish and drinks are sold. So we see this unique, distinctive compounding of nouns taking place in African English. We also see reverse compounding in African English. For example, in English we have this word bread knife. In African English, the compounding of these two words is reversed, and we have a knife bread in African English. Similarly, a bed sheet in native English is reversed and is a sheet bed. Many of these innovations can be attributed to African writers, and African writers justify these innovations on the basis of a need to transmit various cultures in English, and also various functions which are not found in native English, various cultural aspects which are distinctive to only Africans and African culture. To express these cultures and functions, these innovations are needed. And another justification that African writers give is that they have to render in English the speech of monolingual characters, the characters who know only one language, one local African language. When their speech has to be rendered in English, some innovations are bound to be made. So we see that a lot of innovations are made in English when it is used by African users.